By the time you know, it's already over.
Imagine this. You're in a dark room. You can't see anything. You can't hear a thing.
But you know someone else is there with you. You just feel it, a presence.
Well, that room, that's the sky. And that someone is the B-2 spirit.
So how does it do that? How does it create that feeling of a presence you can't possibly see?
I mean, think about it. Every country has radar. They've got satellites pointing at the sky, and yet they still can't find this plane. So why is that?
It all comes down to one thing. It's called radar cross-section. The easiest way to think about it is like an object's electronic shadow. The smaller that shadow, the harder it is to see. And here's what that looks like in reality. A giant B-52 bomber shows up on radar looking like a two-bedroom flat. An F-15 fighter, a small room. But the B-2, even though it's massive, it has the radar signature of a single fly.
So how on earth do they manage that? Well, it's a few things working together. The shape is a big one. It's a flying wing, so there's no tail for radar signals to bounce off. Then, its skin is made of the secret material that just absorbs radar waves like a sponge. The engines? They're buried deep inside, and the exhaust is cooled before it even leaves the plane, so there's no heat trail for a missile to follow. And if all of that fails, it just plays tricks. It sends out false signals to make the enemy radar think it's somewhere else.
And this is the part you really have to understand. Stealth isn't about being invisible. It's about being seen too late. The bombs are already on their way before anyone even knew you were there.
You know, a plane like this doesn't just get invented out of the blue. It was born from a moment of, well, pure public humiliation.
Go back to May of 1960. The U.S. thought its U-2 spy plane flew too high to ever be touched. They were wrong. The Soviet Union shot one down, captured the pilot, and put the wreckage on display for the entire world to see. It was a huge embarrassment. And that moment is what directly led to a new program in 1978 to build a bomber that simply could not be shot down.
At the time, Soviet air defenses were so strong, a U.S. Air Force general said sending in their best bomber would be like throwing a rock at a beehive. It was a suicide mission. They needed something that the beehive wouldn't even see coming.
So, to build something that is, for all intents and purposes, nothing to your enemy, you have to pay an almost unbelievable price.
$2 billion. That was the price tag for a single B-2. That's more than the entire economy of some small countries, and they only ever built 21 of them.
And that's just to buy it. It costs about $150,000 for every single hour it's in the air. After every flight, its special skin has to be checked and recoded. The standards have to be perfect. A single dent, even one the size of a mosquito, can compromise the entire stealth effect.
But the price isn't just paid in dollars. It's paid by the human inside. During the war in Kosovo, one pilot flew from his base in Missouri all the way to his target and all the way back, 30 hours in the air, non-stop.
Later on, someone asked him what he thought about during all those hours alone in the sky. He said, "I thought about nothing. That's the job. Be nothing. Drop nothing, leave nothing."
Be nothing!
So you have to wonder, what does it feel like to be nothing for 30 hours?